The engine dies with a final shuddering cough. Silence rushes in to fill the space where the radio was. Outside, the only light is the dying glow of your headlights, cutting a weak path through the corn. You can see a farmhouse in the distance, a single yellow window glowing like a sick eye. You tell yourself it's just a house. You tell yourself you're safe in your car. But the corn stalks are rustling, and there's no wind. The air inside the car is stale, thick with the smell of hot vinyl and fear sweat. You can hear your own breathing, ragged and loud in the confined space. The silence outside is not empty, it's a presence. It's the sound of a million dry leaves whispering against each other, a sound that seems to be getting closer. You try the ignition again. Click, click, click. The sound is pathetic, mechanical, dead. Your phone has no signal. The map on the screen shows you are here, in the middle of nowhere, a tiny blue dot surrounded by miles of nothing. You sit there for a moment, trying to think, trying to be rational. The car broke down. That happens. People break down on roads all the time, and they call for help, and help comes, and that's the end of the story. Except your phone has no signal, and it's past midnight. And the nearest town, according to the map you can barely read through the cracked screen, is 11 miles away. 11 miles of nothing. 11 miles of corn. The corn rustles again, closer this time. A dry, papery sound. Like something moving through it. Like something that knows you're here. You press the door lock, both of them. You can hear the small click of the mechanism engaging, and it sounds like the most important sound in the world. You sit very still. You watch the corn. The headlights are dimming now, the battery draining, and the circle of pale light they cast is shrinking by the minute. In 10 minutes, maybe 15, you will be in total darkness. You understand this the way you understand that you need to make a decision, and you need to make it before the lights go out completely. You can smell the earth through the vents, damp and loamy and old. And something else underneath it? Something sweet and metallic, like old copper or blood? You tell yourself it's just the fields, fertilizer, something agricultural and innocent. You tell yourself this several times. Your hands are shaking on the steering wheel. You have to get out of the car. Staying here is a death sentence. You grab your phone, your keys, and a small flashlight from the glove compartment. The beam is weak, flickering. You open the door, and the sound of it is deafening in the silence. The corn stalks tower over you, 8 feet high, their leaves sharp as paper cuts, and the smell hits you full in the face. Earth and sweetness and something underneath that your brain refuses to name. You pull the door shut behind you. The click of it closing feels like a mistake. You start walking, not toward the farmhouse, but away from it, parallel to the road. The flashlight beam dances over the ground, catching on things. A discarded bottle, a torn piece of cloth, faded and stiff with age. Then a shoe. Just a single mud-caked sneaker, lying on its side in the dirt at the edge of the corn. You step over it, your heart pounding. You tell yourself it's just a shoe. People lose shoes. But as you walk, you see another one, and another. A trail of abandoned footwear stretching ahead of you along the tree line, each one pointing in the same direction, toward the farmhouse. You stop walking. You count them. 7 pairs, 14 shoes, all different sizes, all pointing the same way. You turn around. You start walking faster. The corn rustles behind you, keeping pace with your footsteps, and the sound of it is no longer just leaves. There is weight behind it. Presence. The road is ahead, a pale ribbon in the moonlight. You can see the shine of asphalt. You break into a run, your breath coming in sharp gasps. The flashlight beam jitters wildly. The corn stalks blur past you on both sides, and then you can hear it. Not just rustling, A footfall. A heavy, dragging step. Scuff. Thud. Scuff. Thud. It's not running. It's not panicking. It's patient. It's methodical. It knows where the road is. It knows where you're going. And it's not rushing because it doesn't need to. You pump your arms, your lungs burning, the road is getting closer. You can see the reflective markers. You can see the white line. You are almost there. And then your foot catches on something, and you go down hard. The flashlight flies from your hand, spinning away into the corn, its beam cutting frantic circles before it dies. Darkness. Total, absolute darkness. The kind of darkness that has weight. You can hear the dragging step. Closer now. Scuff, thud, scuff, thud. You scramble to your feet, blind, your hands clawing at the corn stalks, their leaves slicing thin lines across your palms. You run. You can't see anything. You just run toward where the road should be, and you don't stop, and you don't look back, and you don't think about what happens if you've gotten turned around in the dark and you're running deeper into the field instead of out of it. You burst from the corn onto the road, gasping, your clothes torn, your hands bleeding, your knees scraped raw. The moon is bright here, casting long, sharp shadows across the asphalt. You look back. The corn is still, silent, nothing at the edge of it, no shape, no shadow, no sound at all. You stand there, chest heaving, and you wait for something to come out of it. Nothing does. The silence is total. You laugh, a hysterical, broken sound that you barely recognize as coming from yourself. It was the dark. It was your imagination. It was the fear and the exhaustion and the blood sugar crash of pure adrenaline. You're safe. You're on the road. You start walking. Your legs are shaking badly, but they hold. You keep to the center of the road, away from the corn on both sides, and you walk. And you walk. The farmhouse is behind you now, its yellow windows still glowing in the distance, and you make yourself not look at it. You watch the road ahead instead. And after maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30, you see headlights coming toward you from the direction of town. A single pair of headlights, moving slowly. You start waving your arms before you can even see the vehicle clearly. The headlights slow. They pull over. It's an old pickup truck, rust eating at the wheel wells. One headlight slightly dimmer than the other. The driver's window rolls down with a mechanical groan. An old man sits behind the wheel. His face is deeply lined, the kind of face that comes from decades of outdoor work, sun and wind leaving their marks in the skin. His eyes are pale, almost colorless in the moonlight. He looks at you the way someone looks at a problem they already know the solution to. "You all right, miss?" he asks. His voice is gravelly, low, it sounds kind. "Car broke down? You manage?" Back there, a mile or two, he nods slowly. "I saw it," he says. "Get in. I'll take you to Plainfield. That's the next town." You hesitate for just a moment, because that's what you do. You hesitate, and then the cold hits you again, and your bleeding hands remind you of what's behind you, and you walk to the passenger side, and you open the door. The interior smells of old leather and tobacco and something else. Something faint underneath, something you can't quite place, like a smell that's been cleaned away but not completely, not all the way down. You tell yourself it's just an old truck. Old trucks smell like things. You get in, you pull the door shut. The old man is already looking forward, his hands on the wheel, his pale eyes on the road ahead. He doesn't look at you. He just starts driving. For a minute, maybe two, it feels like relief. The heater is on, a weak and rattling warmth, and the seat is cracked leather, but it's a seat, and you're moving, and the farmhouse is getting smaller in the side mirror. You let out a breath you've been holding since the engine died. Then you look at the dashboard. There's a photograph tucked into the corner of it, between the speedometer and the windshield. Small, square, a Polaroid. It shows a woman. She's sitting in what looks like this very seat, the passenger seat. She's looking at the camera with an expression that you can't read at first, and then you can, and you wish you couldn't. It's the expression of someone who has just understood something final. You look at the old man's hands on the wheel. They are large, calloused, and clean. Scrubbed clean, the skin around the knuckles red and raw, the nails too short, cut down to nothing. The hands of someone who is very careful about what they leave behind. You look at his face. He's smiling now, a wide, slow smile. He hasn't looked at you. He's just smiling at the road, and the smile is wrong. It's the smile of someone who has already arrived at the end of something while you're still figuring out you're in the middle of it. "I'd like to get out," you say. Your voice comes out smaller than you intended. He doesn't answer. He just keeps driving. The truck hasn't sped up. That's the thing that gets you. He hasn't sped up. He's not panicking either. He's patient. He's methodical. He's the dragging step in the dark. Scuff. Thud. Scuff. Thud. You reach for the door handle. He reaches for your wrist. His grip is not violent. That's what you'll think about later, in the months and years that follow. It's not violent. It's certain, the grip of someone who has done this before and knows exactly how it goes from here. "You're safe," he says. His voice hasn't changed. Still gravelly, still low. Still kind, in its own terrible way. You pull. He doesn't let go. You pull harder, your whole body twisting toward the door, your free hand scrabbling at the handle. He still doesn't let go. He just holds, patient, certain, like he has all the time in the world, because in his mind, he does. The truck keeps moving. The road keeps passing under the headlights. And the farmhouse, when you catch a glimpse of it in the side mirror, is getting closer again. Not smaller, closer. He's turning around. He's been turning around this whole time, slowly, a wide arc on the empty road, and you didn't notice because you were looking at the photograph in his hands and you weren't watching where you were going. The yellow window grows in the mirror. You don't talk about what happened after that. Not here. Not in detail. You don't talk about the farmhouse or what was inside it or the smell that was underneath the bleach and the leather and the tobacco. You don't talk about the hours between the truck stopping and the sirens starting. You don't talk about it because some things, once described, can't be put back. They just exist in the air between you and whoever you've told them to, and you can't take them back, and neither can they. So you don't. You leave it in the dark where it belongs, and you let people's imaginations do the work. And what they imagine will never be as bad as what it was. That's the thing you've learned. People's imaginations have a floor, a limit, a place where the mind says, "No, that's too far," and stops. Yours doesn't have that anymore. They found you, eventually. You remember the sirens, distant at first and then suddenly everywhere. You remember the cold air hitting your face when a door opened. You remember a blanket that smelled like plastic and someone's voice saying, "You're okay, you're okay, you're okay." And you remember thinking that was a strange thing to say because okay was not a word that applied to any part of what was happening. But you didn't say that. You just nodded. You let them wrap you in the blanket. You let them lead you out. You don't sleep well anymore. You check the locks before bed, every lock in the house, every window latch, every deadbolt, and then you check them again. You sit in the car with the doors locked before you start the engine, every time without exception. You don't drive at night if you can avoid it. When you can't avoid it, you keep the tank full. You keep your phone charged. You keep a flashlight in the glove compartment with fresh batteries, because you know now what it is to have the light go out. You see old pickup trucks sometimes, on the highway, in parking lots, outside diners. Your body responds before your brain does. Your hands go cold. Your mouth goes dry. You hear it. Scuff, thud, scuff, thud. Patient, methodical, coming for you across whatever distance separates you from it. You pull over, you wait, you breathe until the sound stops. It always stops. Eventually, you survived. You know that you carry it the way you carry everything now, which is carefully, with both hands, making sure nothing spills. But surviving and being okay are not the same thing. They told you that in the hospital. A counselor, soft-voiced, with a plant on her desk and a box of tissues on the table between you. Surviving and being okay are not the same thing, she said, and what she meant was that the work was just beginning. That getting out of the truck was the start of something, not the end. She was right. You know that now. You're still working on the okay part.